My name's Todd. I'm with Platinum Property Management. I was going to talk to you today a little bit about the eviction process and what you should do on your own or with your own property management company. Typically in Georgia, you can evict a tenant. It kind of depends on the county, but you can evict a tenant probably within 30 days, 45 days. And what you want to do is really, from a timing standpoint, do everything by the book, kind of get the process started early. You can always backtrack with a tenant. You never want to paint a tenant in a bad corner, but you also want to get that process started so you don't lose ground or lose time for your owner, or it can be really costly if you let it go beyond that 30-day period. Obviously, you're holding a security deposit and you want to be able to utilize that. So what you want to do is you want to get that 3-day notice out as soon as possible. That kind of serves notice to the tenant that everything is kind of official. There's a tendency to want to work with your tenant or believe that they're going to make a payment and that sort of thing, which is great. But in the event that doesn't happen, you kind of want the timing to start, and you want to be prepared that if it doesn't happen, you're not 7 days behind the ball or 2 weeks, that sort of thing. So what you want to do is get that 3-day notice out, send it to the tenant, certified mail. Keep a copy of your file, and then if after 3 days they still don't make a payment, we go ahead and file. So you'd want to go file in your local magistrate court, and it depends on the court. Some courts are electronic, some you have to go down and actually go to the courthouse. But if you can e-file, it's literally a 10-minute process. If you have to go to the courts, obviously you just go down with the right paperwork and tenant ledger, that sort of thing. And you want to file that really as close to that 3-day period as you can, again, to keep that ball rolling. What we like to do or suggest is to keep an open dialogue with the tenant and the owner. That way, a lot of times you can retract that eviction. If you can make a payment plan, you can avoid going to court, avoid the hearing, because at some point, the tenant, how they respond to that summons from the court is going to dictate the timing and kind of the costs involved. If they do respond and you have to go to a hearing, that's another couple of weeks potentially, as well as cost to the owner. But if you can work out a settlement prior to that, and what we like to do is try to get a consent judgment in place where we just write up the tenant's going to pay X amount by a certain date, or if it's a life event and they can't pay, we can document that they're going to move out at a certain point, and then we can submit that to the court without having to go to the actual hearing. So with an eviction, a lot of it just depends on what the tenant does and how they respond. So it's kind of like a decision tree. If this happens, you kind of approach it this way, and so you really just have to be flexible, but the most important thing is to make sure you're staying on top of the timing and you're keeping track of the filing time and how long they have to respond and that sort of thing. If you let it go, and we all want to believe a tenant's going to pay, and we all want to believe that the money's going to come in, but if you just handle it up front the right way, you're not 30, 60 days down the line without having to file, and then you're going to have that time tacked on. So it's just a precautionary thing. But again, what we suggest is to work with the tenant, and usually the easiest solution is to be flexible and accommodating the best you can, but also kind of have that court filing and the whole process started. So that's your fallback, worst case scenario, go to court, that sort of thing. That's about it. From our standpoint, that's how we do it. Again, it's just a timing thing and keeping an open dialogue with your tenant, and that should mitigate the costs and a lot of the pain and the stress that goes along with the evictions. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Todd again from Platinum. See you later.